I don't know if we have cobalt mines and like that, but it's about these blood minerals. That's what the whole, I don't want to get political.
We need those blue
right
Ukraine
right at the end, I was
gems.
about to say.
Yeah. All right, so this is Cosmically Speaking. John here, podcast episode number 2, and I have a long-time friend, Travis White here.
It's terminal.
It was his make-a-wish to come onto the podcast before he dies. He's a lover of space, aliens, open-mindedness, and I thought he would be a perfect guest for the episode. So I'm going to start the same way I did with Mac, and I'm going to ask you a simple question. What are your thoughts when you look up at the stars?
Oh, I watched this. His response. Yeah. He didn't think anything of it. I love stargazing, man. I think it's awesome. I think about everything. Sometimes it freaks me out, though, because I look at it and it's just overwhelming. And I'm like,
I feel that
feels
exactly.
so minuscule. And I'm like, dude, what is this? What does this even mean? Why are we here? How old is this starlight that's hitting my eyes? How long has it traveled through space and time to be, to look at it? It's really weird and trippy. I love it, though.
So you do it
all the time. I love that stuff. Yes. Yeah, I want to find a girl that I could do that with all summer.
Ladies. There you go. Might be moving up to Milwaukee, ladies. Yeah, no, I had a crazy dream last night that all the lights went out on the planet, and it was just super fucking starry out. Wasn't much deeper than that, but it was just, I had a really good envision of all the stars and stuff last night. But
have you seen Starlink yet? In person?
A couple times, yeah. Over in Johnsburg. At my mom's house.
There's zero light.
It's just
it
had to be a ton of lights,
satellites.
so I couldn't even count the amount of lights. But yeah, it moves quick, too.
Yeah, man. Nuts. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, so, I guess you have a lot of thoughts when you look up at the stars, correct?
Yeah, mostly the minuteness of how small our planet is in comparison to the whole, the universe and shit. I just feel like we're just this little speck, a dust particle in a huge, bigger thing. But then I also think, right away, there's got to be aliens. Because you think about the vastness of Earth, exactly. How many other planets,
Exactly. And I was just talking about Emmy yesterday with, I remember you corrected me. I knew, but I didn't at the same time when we were talking about animals or something. It was one MPS, and I brought up some sort of insect or something. You're like, they're animals. I'm like, are you sure? And you're like, this is fifth grade shit, dude.
Well, yes, what else
everything
would they
is exactly, but I wasn't really thinking of the overall ask, so that really sticks to me. So whenever anyone else brings it up, I'm like, yeah, they're animals. What are you talking about?
I think a lot of times people forget that we're animals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Humans are the only thing that pretend that they're not animals. There's a good Albert Camus quote somewhere.
Who's that?
Along those lines. He's a French philosopher. He wrote The Stranger.
The Stranger?
The book, yeah.
I don't know if I've read it.
It's a good one. It's small, 90 pages, but he was all into absurdism and stuff. Okay. He was an early existentialist guy. I don't think he liked to be called an existentialist, but he was part of that whole thing.
Okay. But yeah, so with that, I was just talking to Emmy yesterday about how, spiders or whatever. I wanted to do an animation of a spider that gets stuck in a house because they just want to be outside. They're just trying to eat and they're freaking the out. They're stuck in this house with no food, it's totally it'd be a really aggressive, scary, more so adrenaline-based animation, just a starving spider trying to get out of this house because it's got to be terrified to be in a house.
I was about to ask you.
Yeah.
Do you think that spiders and stuff like that do have freedom of thought and they're thinking about stuff like that?
To some degree,
or are they just running on instinct and they just don't even know the difference between inside and outside?
I would think they have a lot of instinct, but they also definitely have a lot of consciousness. And that's what I was bringing to that point of where, yes, when you look at the stars, you notice how small we are. Well, we're much smaller than a spider is to us, to what we are to the space.
Right.
They're not that small. They have, our brains compared to something that could possibly be out there.
Compared to an atom, yeah.
Exactly. Our brains are nothingness compared to the universe. So why can you say that
it's all to scale, right? It's all
exactly.
Scale. Yeah.
Exactly. So they totally, it's the same thing with dogs and Remember in the 50s, dads would be like, your dog doesn't have a conscience, and he'd beat out of it or whatever.
Well, I think we're like finding out about consciousness now. People are like finding out scientifically that consciousness comes first in some weird way. Like I can't even explain it.
Not to get political, but
But
that's a pro-life argument then,
It's
right?
like part of the fabric of the universe, I think, consciousness or something. It's like part of the whole thing.
That's what that lady was talking about on Rogan with the
she
the
gets into it a
idea
little
is like a consciousness itself that
It's
comes
like the electricity
into you.
of the universe. Yeah, like some Akashic records, collective unconscious thing. Like I don't even know.
Yeah, but any animal, I would assume they're an animal and their life and their being, they have consciousness, but their limited ability within the brain that they're given, they might not be able to think about their problems for the day, but they're clearly thinking about eating and
something. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how we define consciousness. Really. I don't know what
the ability of thought and recollection, I would think, and choice.
I don't know, but like I said, okay, so according to the conventional standards of consciousness, like you just said with the dogs, I don't think people think dogs are conscious because they like can't think about themselves. But if you ask you or me, yeah, that thing is conscious, man. It has a personality, it has emotion. Why wouldn't that be conscious? But yeah, I think they have a strict criteria of what makes something conscious, which freaks me out because now we're playing God. We're in some Prometheus thing where we're creating this alien technology that's even smarter than us with AI. So who's to say that that's not conscious? I don't know. Just because it's made of silicone and not meat.
Now, is consciousness the same thing as self-awareness?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't know. I don't know what consciousness
because there's
really
a lot
means.
of people that are conscious but not self-aware of their actions, and that's a lot of humans that are that same way, where they're doing things, they're living, but they're not aware of like
on a low level
things that they
of
do.
Consciousness. Yeah, like a lower
yeah. But dogs for sure. Even was it you or someone was talking about goldfish? Like, you know, there's the saying of the mind of a goldfish and the memory of a goldfish. Like goldfish actually have good memory and they remember you and shit. Like
I've heard that.
But it's like it's the 2 second like Dory or whatever the fuck from Finding Nemo. Like they don't remember stuff, but they remember people. Koi fish, for example, are like dogs of the water. Like they literally will remember
weird,
you.
Man, it's weird. I think animals and stuff are way, 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 way smarter than we give them credit for. Because we think of intelligence and consciousness in these really narrow, like categorical boxes. But it's like it's not really like that, man. Like other animals can become friends with each other and shit. Where naturally, like this. Like a bear is supposed to eat a dog, but if they like grew up together in some weird situation,
they'd chill.
Yeah, they can be friends. So who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, that is interesting. That is good, especially with humans because we talk down to each other. Imagine, of course, we're going to talk down to other things that can't even stand up for themselves.
There's a weird pecking order, and humans definitely are arrogant because we think we're like, and we are kind of with technology, we're like the alpha predators. But hey, man, throw one human into the jungle with some tigers and stuff, he's done. So we're totally reliant on the tribe. Unless you grew up with them. Even then, man, I don't know.
You've seen those people like on Instagram and stuff where they raise tigers and they're totally
chill.
I
don't know how real that is, honestly.
There's the one Mexican guy that does it, and he raises them from a baby. He's with them 10 hours a day. Why would you...
I know. I'm sure there's like...
Not why would you, but why would you attack your family member, basically, at that point?
Raw instinct. They smell his blood in his veins.
Yeah,
it's like an alpha predator. Yeah, like just weird instinct takes over. I don't know. I watched some like special features on Tiger King at one point during the pandemic, and I'm pretty sure they were saying like those lions were sedated all the time because they just wanted to tear everything
off. What was that from? Sorry.
Tiger King.
Yeah.
So like when he's in there with them, they're just drugged out. Because
otherwise he was a piece of shit to them.
Yeah, true. So I don't know. I think having any animal like that though is crazy though. You shouldn't have tigers and stuff like that.
No, they belong in there. Like they travel miles a day and shit and do what they need to do. Yeah, it'd just be like caging up a human or anything else. Yeah. You know, you just don't do that shit. But I'm gonna move on to my next question I had for you. It might be it's gonna be a simple answer, of course, and then I'll move on to the next one. But do you believe in aliens?
It depends on what you mean by believe, and it depends on what you mean by aliens.
Okay. Do you believe, or hold on? Yeah, do you believe or have the thought that there are other
Do I believe in
conscious beings on
extraterrestrial
other
life?
planets?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
100%. Okay.
Do I think that they drive spaceships here and look at us and stuff?
Possibly.
Probably.
They might already be here, though, too, the spaceships
Both.
that we see.
All of the above.
Yeah. When was the first time you actually learned about aliens? Do you remember?
What do you mean learned about aliens?
Like the concept of aliens. Like,
I thought of it. I think I already had it in my head.
you.
Yeah.
Like as a kid.
Yeah.
Because it could have been from Cartoon Network or something, you know, like.
I think that I had the capacity to think that deeply at a very young age. Of like philosophy and stuff.
Okay.
So I was questioning like the big picture questions at a very, very young age. Thinking about stuff like that. Are we alone? And I was always obsessed with aliens. So yeah, maybe I did see like a cartoon or something as a kid, and like that got it into my head, like the pop culture aspect of like the classic alien head and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There had to have been a frame of reference maybe. But I think I always just had the capacity and the thought of that, thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It is in our zeitgeist, I guess. Is that the correct word?
Yeah.
Pop culture. It's like we were born into it, and it's just like, hey, this is the first movie you might have ever even seen might have been about an alien, or the show, or whatever the case be. Like a Rick and Morty. Imagine being a kid now and seeing Rick and Morty as your first actual animation show compared to like Rugrats.
Right, it's way trippier, way deeper.
Yeah.
But also, it's just like, it could just be that they're just from a different dimension, too. And they're taking form as these, like, alien things driving spaceships here. That could be how our, like, monkey mind perceives them. But they're, like, on a whole nother level of shit. Or maybe they're disguising themselves as that or something. But Jacques Vallée, he's this French UFOologist who's been in the game longer than anybody else. He would know if anybody. He thinks that they're like just on a whole nother level, and that's just how we're perceiving them for whatever reason. Whether they're projecting that onto us or we're projecting that onto them.
Like
he thinks they're just like,
or just more technologically advanced.
No, like on another whole plane of existence. Like angels and demons level shit. Like
ghosts,
another whole different, like some different dimension.
So no matter what lock you have, no matter what door, it could just, if it wanted you, you're done.
And it kind of goes into like what I was talking about earlier with that AI conversation with, so we lived 14,000 years with bows and arrows as the main conventional source of warfare, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the last 700 or so, we had like modern firearms, last 500 in war.
Do you consider, what about knives?
That would be old school.
That'd be before bows?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that's
like sticks
simultaneously, but I just mean the bow and arrow was probably like
an actual handheld weapon.
Bow and arrow was probably the state of the art, like as good as it gets for a long time, for like 14,000 years. So it's kind of similar to that, where it's like, what were we just talking about before that? I lost my train of thought.
First time, the Jacques Cousteau or whatever, the alien guy.
Oh, right. So he's saying we lived so much longer interpreting these paranormal things as angels and demons. He thinks it's more credible to go with that old school thought of them because there was so much longer we interpreted them as like fairies and goblins and demons and angels than we did as these like alien grays that drive spaceships here. Mm-hmm. That's the most modern interpretation of whatever this is. Where does that even come from all of a sudden? Right. And maybe that comes from like a 1950s like sci-fi movie or something.
But that idea has to come from somewhere. You cannot create nothing out of something.
I think you can, because where does any idea from anything come from?
A collage of other things.
It's all based on something else.
Yeah. Like you can see a circle within a square or something, or you can take two triangles and make a different shape, you know?
This is an interesting conversation. I've had this with a lot of friends over the years. Like, if you locked a human, potentially if you just had a human strapped up to like an IV and kept it alive in like a dark closet,
no light,
could it have any original thoughts? I think it could.
Oh, this is...
Because we have the capacity to think.
I think this...
Well, you just said that there can't be nothing from, or something from nothing, right? In terms of like invention and stuff.
So if you've never heard anything, seen anything, Well, how do you eat or anything? Like,
No input whatsoever. You're just
IV
alive
also
in like in a tube. No inputs.
I don't know.
I think you could. I think you could.
What do they see though? There's nothing to see. There's nothing.
I
to
don't know, but I think that we would just come up with shit to think about. Like you wouldn't have any, like, you wouldn't think in words or whatever, but you would still be a human brain. You'd still be able to think.
Well, I
like
guess,
electrons are being burnt or whatever.
Are you doing this to the start of the human, like right when it comes out of the mother?
It's just a totally hypothetical.
Nazis did this, you know,
I
that,
don't
right? With
think
babies,
so.
they put babies in the dark.
I don't know.
Sure.
That's horrifying, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think.
I don't know.
I don't know. We got off on a tangent there.
When I sit in the dark, though, I come up with some good shit.
That's what I mean, man. I think about anything that's ever been invented. People think it just came through them like they were an antenna for some Akashic records.
I think that
like
a lot of the times with certain things. But is that a way to humble yourself? Like, I'm not smart. It just comes to me.
No, because we don't know where ideas come from. It could be some Akashic record.
I think it's a collage of things that you see. You know, I see a faucet and I go, oh, maybe I can do it this way because I've used this to do so. Like,
yeah, it's interesting.
It's all mathematics at the same, like you're multiplying things or dividing or changing things. I don't know what the word would be for that, but
quantifiable.
Sure. Yeah.
You're saying you can put math to it. It's all quantifiable.
Like I'm taking one thing and mashing it or taking a part of
supposedly
something and
everything
building.
is quantifiable, even like the divine magic of the universe. Everything you can put numbers to and math to.
That would make sense.
Right? Because it's all physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can record it.
You can math it.
Mm.
Is there enough we can learn, like the table of elements, where we know this much? Can we feed an AI like all of that we know and it learns more from that? Like you were just saying, like with the faucet thing, you learn as much as you can. So like all of that we know, how much more could it tell us? Could it do the math for us on the universe? Is there math to be done? Like, is there an answer to any of this shit? Like the big picture shit? I don't know.
That's true. I think it's just a nice big dictionary for us to be like, hey, I need to know this. Can you tell me about it?
Right. It's a glorified.
It can't just learn new things that it doesn't know.
Well, supposedly soon it will be able to learn like faster than us.
Create things, though.
A quantum computer.
That's the biggest thing.
I don't know. Well, that's the whole point, right? Create new ideas. That would be creation.
5 different shapes of steering wheels that haven't been created. It will do it for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cure cancer.
And you're teaching, well, that's what I'm saying. To a point, it eventually should be able to do microscopic, go into that body and kill all those cells, those cancer cells. But you need to have whatever they're called. I don't know.
Microbots.
Microbots. That was a good Transformers episode.
Micro machine.
Next question, I want to stay on a little bit of a topic. Have you ever seen a UFO?
Yes, I was going to bring that up earlier during your Starlink thing.
Okay. Can you tell us about the story or
Yeah, no.
NDA?
No, I'm totally open to it. I'm not like a crazy one-tooth Jimmy. Like, yeah, I saw a UFO. No, it was really interesting. So, me and my buddy were on the river in Johnsburg, Fox River, part of the Chain of Lakes. If you're not from around here, a huge network of freshwater.
There's a chain of lakes.
Ancient dinosaur juice. So all fresh water is recycled. We're drinking the same water as the dinosaurs drank, supposedly. Anyway.
Yeah, clouds up, down, up, down, up, down.
So
go on.
The chain of satellites goes by. The first chain was maybe like 5 to 7 satellites. We're like, oh shit! It was the first time we ever saw it.
Starlink.
Awesome, Starlink.
Yeah. Okay.
No doubt. And then the next chain comes, and it's another one. It's a little bit longer, maybe like 15 satellites in a chain. You could tell they were like doing something with it, like building it at the time or whatever. This was a few years ago. And then a really long chain comes, like the one you were talking about. Like we were counting the balls as they went by. Yeah. There maybe was like 50 or 60 something. But as it's going by, there's a ball like on top, like a ball of light. They're all just like balls of light. They look like stars. You've seen a satellite before.
It's of course,
just like
it's
star.
got a shininess.
You could tell it's way higher than a plane.
Yeah. You have to stop and look, and then you kind of just
see. It's like a shiny ball moving like faster than a plane even.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this ball above the other ones. Like they're in a parallel line. They're all in an exact line. And then there's just one above it. Like, oh, maybe it's like a surveillance drone or something. Maybe it's like a thing working or observing the Starlink, another satellite, like observing it or something.
Mm-hmm.
That just speeds up like crazy to the middle of the chain of satellites, like
So you got lights
crazy
here,
fast. Yeah, like zipped into the middle of the chain and then stopped. And it was just like watching the chain go by. So you've got like one ball and then like all these other balls in a line just passing it. And it waited for like 5 of the satellites to pass.
Mm-hmm.
It just beams into space. I'm like, dude, there's nothing that we have stationed in space or anything. I don't think there's nothing that we had. Like, it's not like that was a Starlink like robot worker thing. That's
just
like
Elon and a little fucking shit checking on shit.
I don't know. I'm like, maybe they have other like satellites that are like worker bee satellites that work
that have
on
to
the
test
satellites.
on stuff, but the speed it moves.
Yeah, the speed and the fact that it zipped into space after it was like done. Like,
So
obviously it was watching the chain. It was like looking at the satellites, obviously. And then it beamed out into space forever.
Holy shit. That's scary.
I don't think anything to do with aliens is scary, really, besides the abduction stories. But I don't think it's scary
because that's not the right word.
If they wanted to do something, they would have done it already. Which is kind of like disheartening in terms of warfare. Because a lot of people say that they're like, oh, they're always around nuclear installations. They're shutting off our nukes. They're obviously sending us a message to not be so violent. Let's be more peaceful, yada, yada, yada. Well, they didn't help the Japanese during World War II. They let those homies get vaporized.
That is
so
very
I think
true.
this might be wishful thinking in terms of like aliens coming to save us. I don't think there's any cosmic daddy coming to save us. We need to save ourselves. Humans should stop fighting it. You know.
So this might be very bad, and I might have to cut this. But do you think that there are some things that just have to happen for the course of the history? Like, okay, you stop that bomb. What happens after that if you do stop it? What is the world without that?
Well, let's just use an example. So you're talking about dropping the bombs on Japan, right?
Yeah, if you stop those bombs, what happens then after that?
We go to war for a little bit longer, but not that many women and children would have died. Not as many innocent civilians would have died. I mean, there's arguments to be made on both sides. Like, there's like war statisticians and historians that'll tell you we would have had to go in there with more troops, and more troops would have died. Yada, yada, yada. And from our perspective, it was all about saving more American GIs' lives. And it did do that, no doubt. It put a stop to it faster than it would have otherwise. But in my opinion, there's never an excuse to kill civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Or any, you know.
No, especially women and children and pets. A lot of pets died that day.
All little doggies and kittens and stuff. Yeah. A lot of koi fish that remembered your name and stuff.
Oh, my God.
Call back. A lot of goldfish with a lot of deep memories that they will be missed.
For real. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really sad, man. It's like we haven't evolved past this. It's 2025. How many wars around the whole world are still going on? It's like, come on, man. We know better.
Yeah, sometimes you can't. I don't know if you know Marvel, the Watchers. Like, people question, they go to them and are like, why don't you help us? Why don't you do these things? It's like, we're just here to observe and record.
I think that's what God is, if it exists.
Yeah, like you can't touch it because people have to learn, and that's a bad example for that. But like, I talked to Mike about this. Have you seen 11/22/63?
No.
So it's a James Franco show. It's on Hulu. He goes to this diner all the time. In this diner, in the back room, there's a fucking portal to the year 1963, and he has to go back and try to save JFK. And he eventually does, but then he does it, and the world is just completely fucked.
Because it opens a new timeline.
Exactly, and JFK, whatever the reasons is, he goes to war, doesn't go to war, then someone takes over, and just complete apocalyptic. So it's the same thing. If you go back and kill baby Hitler, then something else takes over and is worse than Hitler, or whatever the case be. Not, that's a bad example, but, you know, like, what happens if those certain things don't happen? And you look at that with the bombs, that is a crazy ass catastrophic thing that everyone on the planet knows about and has learned from it. Now, if that is always like I'm going to nuke you, and it's like, no, you're not. You don't have that power. Then eventually someone does it. What if it didn't happen and now it's on the verge of happening
It's
now?
more
And then
likely
it does
because we don't know
happen.
how bad it could be. Yada yada. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. You're getting into like some quantum theory, quantum entanglement stuff. Like, I think the nature of the universe unfolds the only way it knows how. So, like, this is the only way in this timeline. This is the only shit that happens in this timeline. If you were to make a time machine and go in and try to change something about your own timeline, it would just open another timeline. It would start a completely different chain of events, and it would just be a different universe then. So everything that happens the only way that it knows how. It would only happen that way.
So what's the point of doing anything?
I don't know, man.
Like, are we some sort of Truman Show?
I don't think
Everyone
it's
is,
scripted.
though?
No, I don't think it's like some destiny or fate scripted thing. It's just that it's hard to explain. It's just that the quantum entanglement, like the nature of the universe, it only happens like one way, like the only way it knows how. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Does that make sense even?
Yeah, 100%. It just is. There's a lot of hard to explain. There's not words for it. There's not concepts for it. It's like a thing that's stuck in your brain that makes sense. It's kind of like doing shrooms or something. Like everything makes sense all of a sudden. But you have no words
and then
for it.
it
No
gets
nothing.
into like
and
the quantum theory, and it gets into the free will argument too, because it's like everything that happens, every little minute little butterfly effect detail led up to the next thing. So it's like everything just leads into the next thing. And then you think you have free will, but your reptilian mind has already made the decision before you even have the capacity to think about it. Shit like that. So I don't know, man. It's really weird, really deep.
Yeah, even sitting here or whatever the case be, like making those
Everything
things
led up
happen.
to this moment. Everything.
Exactly. But
And
you
World
can
War
also,
II even.
Yeah.
The dropping of the bombs had some weird butterfly effect shit on like us being here talking right now, I'm sure. In different ways. Minute ways that we'll never even know.
But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's what you're saying is everything's not a destined, but there's a certain timeline that's going to unfold the way it does. But if it doesn't, I don't know if it starts a new timeline, but it's kind of like
Some weird nature and nurture.
I'll probably cut it, but Joe was talking about it. Did you watch the whole Elon episode?
Yeah.
So when they talked about, Joe goes, if Trump didn't get shot and Elon doesn't buy Twitter, I don't want to be in that timeline because they literally take over, major censorship, like none of this shit. We can't even see anything. We can't hear about anything. Everything's completely controlled and everything's normal, like, as is. As
It's
it
weird,
was before.
man.
It's very weird because it is mind-blowing to look back too, because it's like all the things that I can see on X and whatever else, like if he didn't take that over, would all be censored still. You wouldn't be able to see any truth or anything, which is really fucking scary to me. Because if there isn't social media, there is just mainstream legacy media still that is telling you what they're being told to tell you.
You're only getting one source.
Exactly. And that's not good.
No.
But
I just, with the quantum,
I don't
like the different timeline things, it's just mind blowing, man. Like, yeah, to think, like, what if he got shot when the assassination attempt? Like, what is that universe? What does that timeline look like? This gets into like Einstein's theory of relativity. So I think time is relative to like your mass and your speed and shit like that. Gets back into like the math shit. And it's just relative to your mass. So I don't know, man. It's like I was saying earlier, like everything just happens the only way it knows how. In this timeline.
You've seen Key and Peele?
No, I was about to say there's a series on Netflix called Dark, and it's like
you told me to watch German Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's really weird, but it gets into what we're talking about. Like, I think it's like a murderer who has a time machine or something fucking crazy.
Don't tell me. I do want to watch
It's something crazy.
I've seen the first episode. They find this hole or something in the ground.
Dude, it's crazy, but it has to do with this, like timelines and time shit.
It's crazy that these ideas and thoughts, even the aliens and everything, has really sparked. But it's the last 100 years. What the fuck were people doing for 100,000 years before this? Why aren't people like? it's just very weird to me that we don't have any info. We do, but like this, like I was telling Mike the same thing on the last podcast. In 2,000 years now, if society stays the same, someone could search this podcast in 2,000 years from now. We can't find shit from 2,000 years ago. And anything we want to learn about from 2,000 years ago, the Vatican has hidden or whatever.
That's if
it's
the grid,
very weird.
If the grid doesn't get knocked out for whatever reason.
I'm going to put this on a hard drive and put it deep, deep down in the ground.
Okay. I always think of the end of AI where like the aliens are excavating the earth and they find that kid and
Wall-E type
waiting
shit.
for the blue fairy and shit. Yeah, like thousands of years later. AI.
Oh, the movie.
Steven
No,
Spielberg.
remember I said I haven't seen it.
Oh
Cut this.
God.
Spoiler alert.
It's the best movie ever, dude. You have
Is
to
it?
see that. Yeah.
All right, perfect.
It brings in so many of these
Perfect
concepts.
transition.
Like
Perfect
everything that
transition.
we've talked about so far is in that movie, I swear to God.
All right, so what do you think is the most accurate alien film?
That's hard to say, man.
Like,
But okay, I will say a little story.
okay.
So my ex-girlfriend was like a band geek,
Shout out.
band nerd,
Okay.
and she was always telling me we got to go see the Chicago Symphony Orchestra do the score of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, that sounds awesome. I would love to.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happened that Close Encounters of the Third Kind was going to play soon or whatever at the CSO.
Mm-hmm.
So we got tickets for her birthday. And we went, and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life for a lot of different reasons. It was so special for the musicians, for the people. Like, there's so many things that make something like that special. But I was just thinking about that movie in particular. Like, that movie's so bizarre. Have you
Close
seen
Encounters.
that movie?
A long time ago. I have the special edition. It's like this
weird,
thick.
dude. So this guy, he's getting like premonitions of
Okay.
like that plateau. In
Yeah, the Arizona
desert.
plateau.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he goes to it,
Mm-hmm.
goes on top. There's a secret government base
Yeah.
doing alien experiments, trying to communicate with aliens using sound,
Yeah, with the music
which is
sound,
super
yeah.
weird.
Yep. Yep.
Which was really cool seeing the orchestra do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just weird. Like, there were so many really specific aspects of that movie that make me think, like, what does he know? What has he heard? Steven Spielberg, or whoever made that movie.
Yeah, like,
Because Jacques Vallée is depicted in that movie. That the old swamp gas dude who used to be the government appointed guy to like say everything was fake, everything's swamp gas. I forgot his name. Hyman, something fucking German.
about aliens.
Hynek.
So like anything
Alan
that came
Hynek.
up, but
Yeah.
anything that came up about
He
aliens,
was a
he
debunker.
just shut it down.
Yes.
Government
Yes.
shut down.
And on his deathbed,
That's
he was
weird.
like, all that shit was fucking real. Yeah. And then, yeah. So then
Google it.
Spielberg put him
Holy
in the movie.
shit.
He actually has a cameo in that movie at the end. He's
Okay.
like blowing his hair back, the UFO. But okay, so
Oh, the
in
sound
the
on
movie,
the chair.
yeah,
Yes.
of the UFO. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I do
Yeah.
remember
So
that.
in the movie, the aliens are trading humans for aliens on some like cosmic astronaut shit. Really fucking weird. I'm like, the concepts of this movie are so bizarre, like trading astronauts, all this stuff. I'm like, is this the most realistic alien movie? I don't know. I don't think it's like Alien, like the movie, like Ridley Scott's Alien, like a beast. Unless we went to its planet and found it, but obviously a beast is not going to drive a ship here. And I don't think it would be like Predator, where they're like trying to kill us and hunt
Just come
us.
and
and
hunt it.
shit.
No, they're way advanced past war. You would hope.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
Coming here. So Close Encounters is a
Maybe. That's
Yeah.
what I would go with. Because the rest of them are like horror movies where the aliens are being dicks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I loved that Arrival one. Thought that was really cool. Trying to communicate
the
with them.
jellyfish-looking motherfuckers.
Oh, I love District 9. It's a little
Some
bit
prawn
dated.
motherfuckers, yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think that was really cool. And probably accurate. Because if there is biological, bipedal alien creatures that drive spaceships here, just like that scenario, if that was a real scenario, which seems probable,
Mm-hmm.
we would act like that. We'd probably be dicks to them, especially if they looked creepy and gross. It would be hard not to. And I think that whole movie was like symbolic of like racism and stuff.
I'm going with E.T., the other Spielberg.
Just a nice little guy.
He did both of those,
He
right?
loves Reese Pieces. Yeah, yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah.
He's like, wait, I fucked up. I
He's
did
like,
way too. It was
I'm
way
gonna
too
make
real.
a
Here you go.
child-friendly one. Yeah, really weird, man.
That's very interesting to think about. All right. So I know you've learned to love ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's weird.
What is the coolest thing you've learned from it, or had coolest conversation you've had with it? Some comes to mind.
Oh man. So I was asking it stuff today.
Yeah, bring it up.
I just want to look at like the conversations I was having with it. So today I asked it. I was watching a YouTube video about English longbows and armor and stuff, and I asked it how long. I was wondering how long have we been shooting bows in terms of like warfare?
Because you were watching a video about it.
Yeah, I was watching
Okay.
like the effects of like an old English longbow on armor at the time, like the state of the art of warfare in like whatever the 16th century or whatever.
Yeah,
and it just had me thinking like, so how long were we using bow and arrows to fight on like a mass scale, and how long have we been using guns? So I asked ChatGPT, and it was like 14,000 years we were using bows and arrows, and only the last like 700 to 500 we've been using guns.
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes you think like that's insane. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a good representation of advancement too. You know, like it goes 14,000 years, 500 years, and 50 years, and 10 years, and 5 years.
It goes
like
really slow,
with
and then it goes
weaponry
really
is-
fast.
Yeah, it's very strange. And why do you?
It's like exponential.
How does that happen though? Why does 14,000 years people are just chill, not think like it's just good enough? I guess,
You
right?
get to a point on the technological teeter-totter or whatever, however you want to think about it, you get to a point where you learn enough to just keep learning. I don't know. There was like the Enlightenment and the death of God, the philosophical death of God, the whole Nietzsche thing. All that comes with it too. So there's good and bad about like the technological revolution. A lot of creature comforts came with that. But at the same time, I think we lost a lot of like our spiritual value too.
Yeah, sometimes stuff is just perfect. You don't need to change it. I guess like when you're living hunter-gatherer lifestyle, like Native Americans.
Well, that's
like,
an interesting concept because I think humans, for whatever reason, we have this instinct to constantly innovate and evolve technology, but there's no reason to. We're the same hunter-gatherer beings that we were thousands of years ago. We're the same being, but now we have these.
mm-hmm.
And now we have ChatGPT, which is like an oracle, just this thing that could Nostradamus. Everyone's a Nostradamus now, dude. Everyone can just like ask a robot about the future.
Imagine having this 2,000 years ago.
It's crazy.
Handing someone
It's
that.
crazy, man. I was asking it about the future of warfare too, and like what does the future of warfare look like? And it was talking about like drones and robots and like all this stuff. So I was like, what is even the point at that point? And they're like, yeah, and more humans should ask themselves that.
Mm-hmm. Well, at that point, there is nothing. You're just doing it for weird power play. It's basically a video game at that point, though.
It already is. What's the difference?
Well, power, but if it's just literally drones and robots and computer shit, it's
still
a
send
video
drones
game,
at
literally.
people, I'm sure.
Well, you're killing humans and stuff.
Yeah, with the robots. But still, it's just weird. It just makes it more obvious how pointless and futile war is.
It's
battle bots on a mass scale.
It's definitely a certain type of person that is doing it. It's the same thing with a certain type of person that wants to do advancements. I feel like there's certain civilizations and certain type of not ethics, but different. I don't
Certain
know the
philosophies could push it further, probably.
word. Yeah, but certain worlds, like the Native Americans, for example, they were
just peaceful.
Well, supposedly, they were ripping each other apart.
I'm
for
sure, but they were
But
more
they were
peaceful
chilling.
than Europeans.
Yeah,
That's part of the reason that Europeans were so much more technologically
Mm-hmm.
evolved was because of war.
Yeah,
It's kind of like a pusher. It's like an accelerator of
for
technology.
safety and power.
Faster
They
we
have
can
to
build
do
a
it.
better cannon, and then while you're building that bigger, better cannon, you learn other things about other shit, and it just makes everything better for It's really weird, like the destruction,
weird.
and then
So if there was a timeline where European colonizers never came here, Native American land could still be exactly how it was.
they would still be.
Exactly, because there's still shit like that going on in the Congo or the Amazon. There's people just living on the.
Yeah.
Like they're chill with it. They're growing. they're raising their children. Here's the mango trees. Here's the animals that we feed
And
off
who's
of.
to say that
Like
they're
just
wrong?
chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I would live like that. Slap my ball sack against some tree bark every day. They might die earlier and violently and get eaten by tigers and stuff. But if the standard of living is better and they're more communal and they
happy,
love
just
and
in
care
general.
and they're not like bogged down by the constant grind of American capitalist society, which I'm not saying is like evil or bad.
It's fun.
It's the best thing that we know of right now, I think, with this many people and yada, yada, yada. But I just think there are better ways to live too, though. Just because like it's the best right now for like, I don't know. There could always be better. Could always be worse. Could always be better.
And who's to say what is
Better.
better or worse?
Right.
Whatever works for you. But the modern stress that we have, like in this society, is
Too
fucking
much.
exactly. And the power that the power that be, I guess, with their rules and regulations and taxes and whatever else, that's a lot of stress. Being an adult is a lot of stress. And if you wanted to live 300 years ago on the land, you took care of your family, you protected your family and made sure they were fed and hung out around a fire. That's it. It's not that bad.
I'm sure there
you need
was
to watch
other
Lost.
stressors too, though. Other
course.
shit that you didn't even,
West Nile.
Yeah,
Shit like
diseases
that.
and stuff.
Yeah, dying at 30.
Breaking your toe, and then that just turns into
dying.
like a horrible, You break your leg, and it just kills you. Just
Yeah.
completely takes you out of commission.
I like my life. It's fun.
Yeah.
I can handle the stress, but a lot of people cannot, and that's why you end
the
up with a
grass
lot of
is always
crazy
greenner,
shit.
man. Like I said, it could be worse, could be better. Whatever.
Would you go to the Amazon? I want to go.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun trip.
Yeah.
You got your passport?
No.
You should get that.
Probably.
Yeah, just in case.
I know, man.
Just in case. So that's going to lead me into my next question. What is your idea of the human mission?
I don't think that we have an overall arcing goal like that. Maybe a country does, but not the human.
Do you think we should? Like if we all work together at this, like imagine if every human on the planet all worked 2 hours every day at the same exact
Towards
thing.
like a really big pyramid.
Towards one thing.
No, I don't think it's so simple. It's
Hundreds
not so
of
black and
millions of
white.
hours every day put into the same exact thing.
What would that be? What
I
would
don't
that
know.
thing be? No, I don't think so. Unless it's literally just helping
all
each
jumped at the
other
same
and
time.
helping your community. I think that's what you should do. Help the people around you and stuff.
It's almost like we shouldn't even have a mission.
No.
Like we're here, we should enjoy it.
No, we're not ants. We're not
No.
ants on an anthill. We're way fucking better than that. We have the capacity to
You
think
fucking heard that, ants.
think ourselves and like look around and be like, hey, I want to fucking jack off today and play with video games or do whatever. Just fuck around.
Come in a little bit.
You should have the freedom and shit to do that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be like an overarching.
Yeah, I guess it would be hard to like have like you gotta clock in every day to do
You're not
something.
going to unite everyone on the planet.
No.
There's just not. Even if we all have the same resources and access to resources, humans are still gonna fight. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, women and money.
And just differences of religion and stuff. There's ancient medieval religions still.
Yeah, we're not gonna. You know who you are. We're not gonna tap into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I guess that'll lead me into that. I know I probably know the answer, but is there anything that you want to be known for after this life? Is there any mark you want to leave?
In terms of the people that knew me, I want to be known as honest and genuine and generous and kind. I've got a few of those down, but I could work on some of them too. And then, no, I don't, for everyone else, dude, okay, so what does that mean? They remember you for the 80 years that they're here, and then they die too.
Yeah.
So, is there like a legendary influence that I want to have? In terms of my ego, who I am, my name, where I come from, no. But if I could perpetuate positivity and kindness and shit like that into the future, whether it be by name or however I influence the world, art, or anything cool.
Mm-hmm.
That that.
Butterfly
But I don't
effect.
need to be like known for it. Yeah, butterfly effect. But if I could put enough cool, artistic, just art into the world and every facet of what I do, the way I walk is artistic, everything, it's had such an influence.
Get up and walk for it.
Then it doesn't, like, that's as far as I could go.
Yeah, that butterfly effect, though, because even if you touch 100 people, that changes their life, and then they change.
It's
100
all
people,
up to you.
and, like,
That's the George Orwell thing on his deathbed. It's all up to you. It's everyone's an individual.
Mm-hmm.
So if everyone thinks, oh shit, my opinion doesn't matter, I'm just one guy. If
Mm-hmm.
everyone feels like that, then no one's opinion matters.
Mm-hmm.
But if everyone's like, hey, like this opinion, like everyone's just one guy, then yeah, dude, we can't do one thing alone, like one guy. But like, dude, you could do a lot with a lot of people. We're all just one guy.
I hope you hear that and it does something for you. For real, though.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all just one person, man. So it starts there with everything, with kindness and empathy and getting rid of war and greed and shit like that. So I think it's possible to completely eradicate the world of war. I doubt it, but I hope so. That's something that we could strive for as like a whole. You watch enough combat footage and you're like, whoa, that's not good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
But
bad.
the guys that are sending those guys out know exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
And that's an issue. And the people that want to be in power, that's also the issue, because it's the type of person that wants to do that and will be willing to sacrifice to know or to do what they know that they want to do.
Thing. I think we all have the capacity for good and we all have the capacity for evil. We all do. Everyone thinks that they're the good guy. And I also think that government and stuff like that, like, okay, so where I was going with that, everyone is just as capable of being the Nazi prison guard as the Jewish prisoner. We all have those capacities in us. Our shadow, this is Carl Jung shit. We all have that evil shadow and we all have the good. You have to know your capacity for evil in order to properly avoid it. You have to know what you're capable of so that you can avoid it. Otherwise, you might scare yourself with how much of a monster you could be. But we all have that. So I think these huge bureaucratic machines like the government is such a big, industrialized, greasy machine with cogs going around everywhere. You don't jump on the conveyor belt and you want to be good, man. You want to be a good guy. Jump on this conveyor belt. I'm going to change this greasy machine. I'm going to change this shit. You get in there. You're not going to go through this whole thing without getting compromised, without getting a little bit of grease on you. You're going to get a little greasy. You're going to get greased up. People are going to pay you. People are going to threaten you, scare you, bribe you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get to you. They'll figure out what your fucking weaknesses are and they'll figure it out and get to you. I think that's just the sad reality. That's what we have to try to avoid. We have to try to have a clean machine.
Yeah, that's crazy. We could also become those people that are the greasers and secretly tell them to do things that are actually good.
Well, that's my point,
we're
though.
going to kill your fucking family unless you do this shit.
No, everyone starts off on the machine like good with the flags and like all nice and shit. Everyone gets compromised.
No,
that's what it seems.
That's
Or
what
everyone
I'm
has the
saying.
capacity to be compromised.
Who are the greasers, though? That's what I'm saying. Like, if you become powerful,
The lobbyists
you don't
for
exactly.
anybody.
But if we become lobbyists and tell them to do things that are good, or we will kill your family. You know, it's like, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, just threaten them to be good. Yeah. Yeah, people don't know what's good for them, man.
It's weird that it's always evil, though. You know, the lobbyists are always evil.
It's not necessarily evil. It's greed. It's greed, and
which is evil,
fear
though, at the
and
same
all
time.
these things. And yeah, man. Well, if you're afraid, you're going to fucking... It's all... I don't know. And a lot of these guys have never tried weed.
I know.
They didn't get laid until they got rich when they were like 30. They're weirdo. They're fucking weirdos. Bill Gates and shit. These guys are fucking weirdos, dude. They're not even humans. They've always been on some weird shit. So I don't know. I don't know what the secret is, but it seems to me like everyone, once they get into government, gets compromised or gets like, if you really want to change shit like JFK, it seems like they killed him because he was a good guy. Like he rocked the boat too hard. Like he tried to change some shit for the better and they fucking killed him for it.
Yeah.
So
And then they killed Robert too.
yeah. And I don't know why, like all these things are interconnected in weird ways and like all this shit. And it seems like it's because they were trying to do good.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
So it's like, even if you want to fucking help,
Give me a sec.
they'll kill you on the conveyor belt.
I gotta check something. When space travel becomes super easy and like people are going to Mars and shit, are you gonna go?
No.
Never? Not even a
No.
possibility?
No.
I want to go.
Why?
Why not? I told
Why?
Matt, I feel like I could be an actual leader there. Like, so, I don't know.
Why?
Why not?
You want to be a colonial leader on Mars?
Yeah, why not?
Why?
Why not?
I just think
I feel like people will actually need, whether it's centering, grounding, or just actual leadership, like there, like by the time it happens, we're going to be 50 something years old. Like we will be the people that are in charge.
so.
At
What
least the
are you
age
saying?
of.
You have so you have a natural calling to be a leader. That's fine. That's cool. And you say this is a good opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think so.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And because it'd be fucking insane. Just to
I
go.
just think there's nothing on Mars. All the cool shit is on our planet. All the fucking
True.
vegetation, the animals, the drugs, the pussy, everything is here. Why would you want to fucking go to another planet?
I don't think I wouldn't want to be the first fucking people. I'm talking about if it starts 5 years from
You're saying
now,
it's established.
20 years
they
later,
have like
yes.
domes, and they have their
Exactly.
own plants and
Exactly.
shit. Then yeah, if it's easy to get here, I would
No, I'm
totally.
not going. I'm not the first frontier of
dude.
Mars.
Dude.
No.
There's nothing
I'm talking
there.
about in like 20 years, 25 years. Because Elon says people are
Bro,
going to be there in
it's-
5 to 6 years.
I hope they are.
So then you think 20 years from now, if it's an actual continuous thing, you would think, okay, there's 10 years of people there. What is it
I know
called?
you're really into this Mars thing, and I kind of want to ask you questions now.
Uh-oh.
So
It is red, yes.
why? Okay, so all of his reasons for Musk, all of his reasons going to Mars are
Multi-planet.
they up. What is that?
It's an alien. They're coming for us. just ball.
Yeah, no. All those reasons apply to Earth, dude. I mean, all those reasons apply to Mars too. It could get blown up by an asteroid. A star is gonna die. It's the same sun, so like all the reasons that for Earth's demise apply to Mars, if not more so, because it's gonna take more to survive there. So I don't really get it, man. I think it's kind of like a distraction. We should focus
Okay.
on our own planet
I see that 100%. Yeah, there should be stuff that, yes.
instead
You're
of
right.
like not trashing our own planet with the pollution and the industrial, like all that shit. Let's just make our planet like fucking pimp. It's already the one with the ozone and shit. We already know we can grow awesome plants here and stuff.
I
Like,
think it's the beginning because I had this thought once. I think it was DeGrasse Tyson or someone was on Rogan and they were talking, and it was like, no, it was Elon. They were talking about either there's no one in the universe or there's tons, and it's equally scary, you know? So, okay, so if there is... If
well,
this
okay,
is,
hold on.
listen, okay.
I don't mean to cut you off. Save that idea.
Yes.
But you were talking to Mike about this stuff, the mathematical probability of life harboring planets in the galaxy. That there's a mathematical equation called the Drake equation that is exactly that. There's math to this already.
Okay.
And according to that, there's like tens of thousands of hospitable planets in the Milky Way alone.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to just get
Yeah.
that out there.
Yeah.
Because you guys were talking about that last time too. I'm like, there's an actual term for that, Drake's
Yeah,
equation.
Drake's equation, okay.
Which is like controversial for whatever reason. I don't know what the math is based on, but if you have liquid water, you can kind of extrapolate.
No, yeah, because our
If it's
periodical table
old,
is the
if it has
same thing.
water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And that's why my thought, and I've told you this before, I think there's hundreds of millions of Earths just like
It would
ours.
be similar. But yeah, I always bring up dinosaurs and stuff.
Yeah, but
one
they
little
would have run the
butterfly
same
effect
thing.
thing could make like a human look way fucking different.
But
Or
if
like-
we're also from a different planet, if the human basis is from a different planet that was brought here, because it is weird that
we're
dinosaurs...
made in God's image,
Maybe.
we do look good, I think.
We don't look bad. But yeah, like, it's just weird that dinosaurs, it goes from dinosaurs to these fucking cocksmiths. What is this?
My Cocksmith glasses.
I put those. All right. Cosmic
I'm
After
a
Dark.
Coxman.
So again, I'm going to bring up that point where like either there's nothing or there's tons.
I think there's tons.
Me too. But imagine if we are at the beginning of time and Earth is where humans start and we do populate the entire universe. And that is the first part of it, going to Mars and then going from Mars to another planet and then another planet. And eventually the Milky Way is filled with humans that started at our Earth.
It's interesting.
And I would like to be a part of that. So that's one thing.
No, I'm not poo-pooing it. I think it's awesome. I just wonder, like, the reasons are the same. Like, Earth already exists. We're already here. I just think we should prioritize Earth. But anyway.
I feel that 100%.
I
agree.
What did you just say before that, though? Fuck. I was going to...
We look pretty good.
No, there was something. What we were just talking about?
I said there's tons of Earths with humans.
Oh, yeah. I just think... Who knows, man? Drake equation. Why wouldn't they be everywhere? Maybe there's some kind of rules, like.
But because we are one of the randomness.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Okay, so that got me thinking about.
You look like Carlos from Hangover.
That got me thinking about the simulation theory. Do you know the simulation theory? How it actually works?
No, maybe, but go.
It's pretty
go
simple.
over it.
So you build a simulation. And then that simulation builds other simulations. So it's like, think about it like a TV screen.
Okay.
This simulation makes other simulations. They make two. And those two make two. It makes a huge pyramid shape right away. Branching trees downward.
Of simulations. Would you consider
the
like a video game a simulation?
Hold on.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
Mathematical probability of you being the first origin simulation is way less likely than the rest of them, according to simulation theory.
Tinyverse, Rick and Morty.
According to simulation
okay.
theory. So then that kind of applies to what you were just saying. Like maybe we're the first fucking ones that can do that. I just think that's less likely than other aliens already doing it. Because there's older, bigger planets.
Okay. I get that. And that's the point also with like if there's aliens or a planet that started 1,000 years ahead of us, that could be humans 1,000 years ahead of us.
I just think that there's probably rules. So like
universal rules?
Yeah.
Like you don't fuck with other planets?
Like fucking dude, Canadian guys, Israeli guys, top dogs of like their government, space forces have already said this exists. Like there's a galactic federation and it like we're getting to the precipice of intelligence where we can fuck around with shit and they are finally starting to communicate with us. But there's like rules like you don't fuck with these critters until they're up to this intellectual or technological
it's like you can't smoke till you're 18.
Yeah, don't fuck with them. Yeah, just showing yourself to them could really fuck them up. I think there's probably shit like that.
All right, I have one last question for you.
Okay.
Do you have any idea or concept in life that you think every single person should know?
The golden rule.
Which is?
Do unto others as you would be done to you.
Okay.
Super simple.
I like that.
If everyone operated from that, the world would be a much better place. But that's super simplistic and black and white. Like I said, there's ancient medieval religions that have them thinking direct certain way about shit that subjugates others and stuff. So
there's also a lot of sadistic people that don't care about themselves, though. So then, like,
I don't know. I don't even know if that's. There's people like they're not even capable. You're talking about the ones that are capable of shit, though. Don't even count the ones that can't.
Yeah, because they're
incapable. It's not even their fault. They're just incapable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For whatever reason.
So, what was that again? What's the golden rule?
The golden rule. You don't know the golden rule? Do unto others. Do unto others as you would have done to you. Yes. Don't do anything to anybody else that you wouldn't want to happen to you. Don't steal. Because it's shitty when you get shit stolen, right?
Yeah, don't steal from small businesses, you pieces of shit.
Yeah. He wants his fucking Funko Pops, okay?
Yeah, everyone likes Funko.
Everyone likes Funko.
Yeah.
And, dude, someone had to work hard for this. Everyone, that's another thing that I wanted to bring up. Every single thing that you look at in this world, there's been time and effort and money and people's time, like, energy is in things. I don't know how to say it, but everything that you look at took time and effort, and we take everything for granted. Just being able to just wake up, take a shower, go to McDonald's, get a fucking McGriddle, go to work. Everything has been set up by our forefathers in order for it to be this cool and gravy and easy.
What is that word? Everything does have like a past. Like it has a not a timeline, but it has some sort of like ghost to it. Like every single thing, even this, like whose hands, and like this was on a truck and then it went to get
an enormous amount of effort and energy went into every single thing that you see.
What would you call that though? Like a ghost trail, like every product, everything.
Half-life.
Okay, yeah.
It's like it's Half-Life or something.
It's very interesting. That's what with the store. I love getting things into loving homes. It's so cool to see people so happy and like excited to have certain things.
I feel the same way because we started like we started the eBay thing at similar times.
MPS.
On eBay. Yeah,
11 years ago. Yeah.
So it started with my own shit, kind of. I sold my own G.I. Joe collection and my mentality. And like, sure, it would have been cool to see that, like, still have that now. But I'm an old man now. I don't need to play with G.I. Joes anymore.
He looks good for 50.
It's cooler to pass that on, pay it forward, and like somebody else can get use out of it.
Of course.
I don't need this. It doesn't give me anything anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Pay it forward. Pay it forward and golden rule. Those are the two most important things.
At any moment, this thing could stop recording. It's at high temp for some reason. I need to get a little fan for that, but
it's because I'm too hot for your cameras.
Yes, those glasses. My fucking camera's melting. You need a little stogie.
Because I'm Cyclops. These are keeping me from X-raying those cameras off.
Yeah, they're cool glasses actually.
They're really thick,
but they're cool though. Like
I like that you can see what I'm looking at with them. That was the whole point. But I don't even think they're sunglasses. They're just.
No, they're just Mac Daddy glasses.
Yeah,
you just go to the club. You just go.
Coxman glasses.
Yeah, I fly a plane.
They're goggles, man. This is for protection from the pussy.
Oh my god! I'm gonna cut that.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, I'll leave it. Fuck it.
I don't care.
Oh, where can you get these?
Temu, $3. Temu spring collection.
Those were $3.
Spring catalog.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. The other ones were too.
Who made those?
Like we were saying.
I hope it's all machines.
No, it was a child slave had to hand wire these.
And he had to try them on. He's and they're clear. Just crying.
Yeah, man. Well, that's another thing, man. We should care about more stuff like that.
100%.
If I could send any message, let's make cool United States smartphones. Let's employ United States people. Someone get this idea. Hey, make a smartphone made in America. People would be psyched on that. I don't care if it costs $2,000. $2,000.
Yeah.
It's realistic. They already there's got to be a way, man. There's got to be a way. I don't know if we have cobalt mines and shit like that, but it's about these blood minerals. That's what the whole. I don't want to get political.
We need those blue Ukraine.
Right at the end, I was about to say, this is what this is about. It's about blood diamonds, bro. It's about blood diamonds.
So yeah, that was the episode 2. Thank you, Trav, for coming by. I think that was a really fun, eye-opening, open heart, open mind, open thoughts. Exactly what I want to do on Cosmically Speaking here. Please sub, comment. I'm sure we said 100,000 things wrong, but it is what it is. It's all about the open conversation, having fun, and that's what it is. Big things coming. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Yep, thank you. Yeah.
We was gonna die together. We was gonna ride forever. We was gonna reach the levels that they can never. My love is severed out. My heart can never grow with another soul.